Hi. Well, here we are again, and I just thought that in the break that I had while I was trying to get the car sorted out to buy some more timber, what I'd do is paint my roof here. So I've just bought some cheap white paint. I've filled up the odd little gap here with a bit of all-purpose gap filler, given the roof a bit of a wash and a bit of a clean, and now we're going to paint it. So let's get stuck in. Now for the exciting bit, waiting for the paint to dry. In fact, it's so exciting that what I might do is a slow motion close-up so you can just check out how exciting it is. I told you that would be exciting. Alright, with all that slow motion action, I think we've had time for this paint to dry. So now I'm going to do the final coat and get off this roof before I fall off. Sheesh. I think it's fair to say that that's about the roughest paint job I've done since I used to use my fingers back in kindergarten, but no matter, it'll do the trick. All I really wanted to do was seal up some of these holes along the old screw lines where the original person had put it, rather on the ridges. They put it on the troughs of the roof there, so get a few leaks through those holes. Sealed them up now, painted them. Hopefully they'll be sweet. That's it for now. Got to get myself a tow bar on my car and get some timber on the trailer to finish the rest of this job. See ya. Right, so I bought these Yakima rail bars online. They turned up yesterday, and so I chucked them on the car. And so today I've tested them out, and so they seem to work bloody well. And of course this has solved my problem of not being able to get any timber to build my shelves. So I picked up some stuff to build my shelves. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to measure all that, and I'm going to cut it up to size, and then we're going to install those shelves. Alright, so I've made my first kind of shelf here, and I've used this 45mm by 45mm dressed pine for the frame, and then the base is this Triboard stuff here, which is about 16mm thick, and it's got a wheat bix core sandwiched between two kind of thin skins of MDF. and it's good stuff. There's a place downtown that sells these panels pretty cheap, so I picked some up for a good price, and it's perfect for this kind of stuff, perfect for making shelves. But I've made this and I've come to put it in place and see how it fits, and I've realised that I've cocked my measurements up. So I've measured from the back wall to my edge here, and what I haven't allowed for is that I want to have sort of 3 of these vertical frames at the front here, and there is no room for them, and I've made my shelf about 45 mils too wide. So what I'm now gonna need to do is pull this apart. It's all screwed together, so that's no big drama, and cut down the sides by 50 mil to leave room for me to put these vertical kind of braces along the front. I've now cut that down, knocked 50 mil off this shelf, put it back in here to see how it's going to fit, and there's now room along this edge to put my vertical braces, so that all looks like it's going to work out great. So now we'll do the other 2, and I'll show you how I've cut them up and put them together. Okay, so I've cut these bits up. I've mitered the corners here, mainly just because I've only got some short screws, and I don't have ones long enough to go through this entire thickness of wood, so mitering the corners means I can use some short screws up. And then once I've drilled and screwed all those corners, I'm just going to use this, well, not all the corners, these 2 corners there. I'm going to use this bit of wood, bit of triboard here, to square everything up, because this is square. So I'll put that in place, screw those, countersink the holes so that the screw heads are sitting flush with the surface of the triboard, and then do these last 2 corners once these edges here are squared up with my bit of triboard. Okay, so that's all done now. I've flipped it over, and I've measured and cut myself a centerpiece here. So now I'm just going to attach that, and I'm going to use some nails for that, because as I said before, I don't have any long enough screws. So I'm just going to pre-drill the holes for the nails to make sure they go in straight, and then we'll go and install it. Right, so that's done, and I've left this little gap here just because I thought it'd make it easier for me to, when I come to install it in the shed, and then I can cut down a piece of my triboard and slot it in to that gap once it's already in place in the shed. So let's go and do that. I've got these now in place. This top one here is fixed at the back and fixed in the center pole here, which I've then attached at the floor level as well. These 2 shelves here are just resting in place on some nails that I've banged into the wall there and into this post here, so they're just kind of sitting there roughly ready for everything to be screwed in place. I've got these other 2 poles, one there for this side, another one on that side, and now I'm just going to screw those in place. I've marked and measured them. I'll level them up, and I'm just going to come in 45 mil from the edge on those, so that when I run my screw in, it doesn't sort of get in the way of the screws that are holding these joins together. And then once I've done that, I will cut my other bits of triboard to slot in at the back there. Right, so I've got my piece of triboard up here ready to cut. I've clamped it to the railing of the deck here, and then I've clamped a straight edge to my piece of Triboard as well to use as a guide so that I get a straight edge when I cut it. So let's cut it up. Right, shelves are done, and if you look at them at night with the lights turned out, they look pretty bloody good. And the only thing now, because they're looking very sparse, is to fill them back up with all the crap that was originally in here and is now in my garage. I can barely move in my garage for all the junk that's in there. Take that out of the garage, chuck it back in here, so I'll get my garage back and I can move around in there. Then the next thing to do is, once I've got a tow bar in my car, is go and pick up some timber, probably some Triboard actually, for the floor here, and we'll be back again when I've got that and I'm ready to install it over the joists that we've got here, and then my shed will be finished. Everything's stacked and organised, and it's a much more usable space. There's my original drawing. Oh no, sorry, wrong side. There's my original drawing, the plan, and I've pretty much built it as I drew it. All I've done is got rid of some of these diagonal braces, which I decided were over the top when I went to buy the timber and unnecessary. And you know, it's as solid as the walls of the shed are. That's it for part 2 of the shed renovation. If you enjoyed that content, please hit that like button and or subscribe, and keep an eye out for part 3 where I finish the floor and finish the painting on the shed. But that's all for now. I'll see you here next time on Master of None NZ.